Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my 2026 Quarter 2 BookTube spin video. We are now 1/4 of the way through 2026, so it's time to bring out my quarterly TBR game, the BookTube spin, which was brought to BookTube by Rick McDonnell. He based it off of a game that I think was played on literary blogs, where people would create a list of 20 books, usually in 4 categories, and then they would spin a digital wheel to decide which book they would next add to their TBRs. So I've been playing this game for a few years now, and I've made my own little set of rules as I've gone along. First of all, I have a permanent set of 4 categories of books that I pull from, starting with Jewish romance, then going into general literature, then science fiction, and then fantasy. And I go ahead and I spin my wheel 3 times and then read from the number of the book that I read from for the game least recently. So as you can see here, I have pulled from each of my 4 categories for the last 4 quarters. So my goal in this game is hopefully to get a book out of Jewish romance, or if not Jewish romance, then maybe fantasy. I've also added a couple of other rules onto my game. This year I am putting my palm on the scale because I'm not actually playing with 20 books. One thing that I started doing in previous years is every quarter when I would choose a book, I would then remove that number from my wheel for the rest of the year. And then at the beginning of the new year, I'd add them back in. But this time I decided to leave my 4 2025 numbers off of the game. And I've also removed the number that I spun last quarter. This is my way of desperately trying to get some of my books off of this TBR game, some of which have been on there for years. So I'm moving the needle where I can. So yes, this does mean I am personally playing with 15 numbers this quarter, not 20. But at the end of my game, I will do an audience spin for anyone who's interested in playing along but wants to do so with all 20 numbers. Okay, I think that covers all of the administrative parts of my game. The last thing I want to do is just give a brief overview of all of the titles I will be spinning from. So I'm starting with my first category, Jewish romance, and book number 1 is Imogen, Obviously, by Becky Albertalli. This is YA romance with nominally Jewish characters. Imogen, a senior in high school, thinks she's a straight LGBTQ ally, but when new relationships have her questioning her sexual identity, she's accused of identity appropriation. Seems kind of hard-hitting about policing others in the name of social justice. Number 2 is recommended for you by Laura Silverman. Bookseller Shoshana is gunning for a holiday bonus, but the only thing standing in her way is annoying, non-literary, hot Jewish bachelor Jake Kaplan. I think we all know where this goes. Book number 3 I'm nixing as a 2025 pick. Book number 4 is Marry Me by Midnight by Felicia Grossman. After her father's untimely death, Isabella must secure a marriage outside of the powerful Barab family in order to maintain her own influence in her family's company. Could Erin Ellenberg, the community outsider, answer her prayers? This is a Jewish, Victorian, gender-bent Cinderella retelling. And book number 5 is Meant to Be Mine by Hannah Orenstein. Edie's grandmother Gloria predicted the exact date Edie would meet her beshert, Yiddish for soulmate. But although Edie meets an attractive musician at the right time, she finds out that predetermination isn't as simple a concept as she believed. What if a relationship includes some rocky waters as well? Next, I am moving into general literature, and I am nixing number 6 as a 2025 pick, and number 7 as my quarter 1 pick. Number 8 is The Road to Dalton by Shannon Bovring. In 1990's Dalton, Maine, one community member's actions lead to her neighbors grappling with the big and small conflicts in their lives. Number 9 is The Other Westmore by Wes Moore. My governor, a successful Black American, tracks down an imprisoned drug dealer who shares his name, age, roughly, and city of origin. This is a testament to what helps kids succeed and fail. Number 10 is Dolls of Our Lives by Mary Mahoney and Allison Herricks. The hosts of the Dolls of Our Lives podcast discuss the origins and legacy of the American Girl brand. Now moving into science fiction, number 11 I am nixing as a 2025 pick. Number 12 is Ancestral Night by Elizabeth Bear. A routine salvage mission in space goes awry when an ancient technology is uncovered. Number 13 is Pushing Ice by Alistair Reynolds. A rockhopper crew is tasked with tailing one of Saturn's moons as it breaks orbit and leaves the solar system. Number 14 is Lightless by C.A. Higgins. Computer scientist Althea is closer to her spacecraft than any of its crew, but she must put her surveillance skills to the test to foil a terrorist plot. And number 15 is On the Edge of Gone by Corinne Doivas. As a comet moves to strike Earth, our teenage protagonist fights against an unjust system to survive. And my final category is fantasy, starting with number 16, A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula Le Guin. This is a YA classic about a young sorcerer who tampered with long-held secrets and unleashed a terrible shadow onto the world. Number 17 is The Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons. A man discovers his fate is tied up with that of an empire, and he may be here not to save the world, but to destroy it. Number 18 I'm nixing as a 2025 pick. Number 19 is A Queen in Hiding by Sarah Kozloff. An orphaned princess becomes a guerrilla fighter, and she must assemble a group of rebels to take back the kingdom. And finally, number 20 is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, with a young peasant girl who discovers she has an unearthly power, but the war she fights for her god may cost her her humanity. All right, now I have my spinning wheel and about to spin for book number 1. Well, there we have it. I spun a Jewish romance. I guess I can stop my game now. This is Marry Me by Midnight by Felicia Grossman. However, I think I'm not going to stop my game and continue to go on and spin for other books. And if I get another Jewish romance, I'll have to make a decision about which one I read. Okay, moving on to spin number 2. "12 is in science fiction. It's Ancestral Night by Elizabeth Bear, and I read science fiction just a couple quarters ago, so definitely not going to go with that one. But let's see how we end things with spin number 3. And 16 is in fantasy, A Wizard of Earthsea, which I'm hoping to spin fantasy next quarter, I think. This quarter, I'm very happy that I got a Jewish romance, just as I hoped. And I'll be reading Marry Me by Midnight by Felicia Grossman, and I'm actually pretty excited about this one because this is historical romance. And in all honesty, I've had difficulties with contemporary romance, and I'm hoping this will be more my speed. The only downside, perhaps, is of all of the books on this list, this probably still has only been on the lists for less time or a little bit of time in comparison to the others. But what can you do? The wheel has spoken. And now we'll see how the wheel speaks again. If you want to do a spin with all 20 numbers on the wheel, this one is for you. So there we have it, number 14 on your list. Whatever it is, I hope it's a good one. And that about covers it for me now. I'm going to leave the Goodreads links for all of the books I mentioned listed down below in case you'd like more information. And I also have the link to my playlist for TBR games in case you'd like to see more of this game being played. I actually play 2 TBR games. This one is my quarterly one, and I also play a monthly TBR game, the Page 112 tag, where I pick 3 books off of my physical shelves and read and assess page 112 of those books. I actually have already pre-filmed that video because I do get excited about it, but it should also be my next video up on this channel in a couple days, so stay tuned for that. Otherwise, I'd love to hear your thoughts about any of these books, or perhaps the book you spun, or perhaps if you read for the BookTube spin last quarter, what you thought of that book. I'll go ahead and make my confession. I actually have not yet read my quarter one pick. I decided to go ahead and move it to the end of the year because I'm hoping to do a video for this author where I read this book and a couple of her others at that time. So that's my excuse. I'm pretty sure I'll get to this book for this quarter much more quickly. We shall see. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.